February 6, 2016. I am Ashraf. Today, I would like to speak about a model which poor small countries can adopt to build their infrastructure and economic base on their own without any foreign countries' grant or aid or loans from any international financial institutions. Uh, in my mind, there is Pakistan, but this model can apply to many other countries that are struggling to build infrastructure. I would like to start my talk with an example from the early part of 20th century in San Francisco. As you may know, San Francisco is a peninsula. There is a water around it on all three sides, and it is connected to land only on its south side. And the people living across the bay who used to come to San Francisco to work every day, they were dependent on ferries and on small boats to cross the bay to come to San Francisco every morning and go back to their homes on the other side of the bay in Marin County, etc., after finishing their work. So they got together and they thought that they should do something about it, and they formed a committee and they raised funds and they put their technical skills together and build a tremendous, a beautiful bridge on the bay connecting San Francisco and Marin County. And since then, it's almost 80, 90 years that bridge has become a famous bridge all across the world. All the travelers who come to San Francisco, they make sure they go to Golden Gate Bridge to see the scenes of the area right from the bridge and from across the bridge. There are many vista points where those visitors stand and take the beautiful bay of the San Francisco Bay Area. There is another example, and that example is from a small country like Pakistan. There is a small town, not small, but you can call it a sort of a middle sized town in San Francisco. The town's name is Sialkot. And Sialkot is known for last couple of centuries for sports goods. Uh, Sports goods are a sort of cottage industry in Sialkot, and the people are known for their skills to make cricket balls, footballs, soccer balls, volleyballs, and shoes for players, and uh, export these sports goods all across the globe. And the goods made by them are used in international games and Olympics. So the residents of that city had to travel 70, 80 miles or 100, 120 miles either to Islamabad or to Lahore to fly out of Pakistan to visit foreign countries. So at one point they thought that they should have a airport in Sialkot, International Airport, and they requested the government of Pakistan and their local political leaders and members of parliament and other people of authority to help them to build out a airport in San Francisco, and all they got in return were promises from all those powerful people, and they could never build the airport. And then eventually they got together and they thought they can do it on their own. So they put all the businessmen together and sold the shares of that airport, and everybody chipped in some type of resources, bought share for the airport they wanted to build with their own resources, with their own help, and they did that thing. They built a tremendous, a large airport, which is a sort of now uh, hub for international flights from Europe and from Middle East land on that airport, and the residents of that city fly in and out of the country through that airport, which is a sort of local airport now. So by giving this example, you can understand in which way I'm trying to lead you. I think if people put their resources together at local level, they can do miracles. They can do anything they like to. So basically, I I am against uh, the policies of government which force the government to go to lender agencies or international financial institutions to get huge loans and burden their economies with debt for a number of years or decades, and their next generations to build that type of projects in their countries. Pakistan has been one of the heavy borrower countries, which is borrowing money for last 55, 60 years, and its loans volume is almost right now in 80 billion dollars, which owes to different financial institutions and different governments. So I think that type of policies, if countries achieve something out of those loans, I think still those are fake developments. Those developments haven't or do not emerge out of the economies of those countries. So that type of projects, instead of helping countries like Pakistan, they put them in more trouble. And that type of money, it causes corruption, it causes lawlessness, it makes people lazy, it puts their talent to sleep. They think they cannot do anything on their own. For everything, they look towards foreign powers and very, very tiny countries in Europe become model for them. They think that those countries can help them do this thing, that thing, and those countries are much smaller in size and in every respect from the countries who are seeking their help. Pakistan is a major size country, and it is shameful that it runs all across the globe to borrow money for this project or that project. So I suggest that Pakistan should undo this policy and follow the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge model or Sialkot Airport model, and then try to rebuild the country. Uh, mm, One way to do that thing to create local boards based on local businessmen, and ask them to raise funds at local level to build small uh, electric powerhouses in their districts to supply power to the residents of their districts. And of course, they should be responsible for water supply. They should be responsible for road system in their districts, and they should be responsible for gas supply in their district, and they should be responsible for education and local policing and keeping their cities clean. So all those things should be done at local level with the local resources under the local administrations. I think with that type of model, not only corruption will be eliminated, I think a lot of wastage will be eliminated as well, because the people putting money at local level, they will be really vigilant that nobody steal the resources, nobody steal the electricity without paying the bill for it, and that's how it used to be before Pakistan came into existence. Was a Bijli Ghar in almost every big city, which used to generate enough of power to supply the consumers in the entire city. And that system was very efficient, and it was coal based, and Pakistan has large reserves of coal in Sindh, and they can be used for power generation by building that type of powerhouses. Now, present government, it is seeking Chinese help, so it is seeking Denmark's help, making 1,000 megahertz power supply stations, making 500 or 200 megahertz power supply stations. That's all nonsense. It can be done at the local level. Of course, there won't be chances for commission for the rulers, which normally they get by signing that type of agreements with the foreign governments. So, summing up my points, I think the making local governing bodies and giving them the task to raise resources at local level to provide all type of basic necessities in their districts. As I have mentioned earlier, like power supply, like road system, like water system, like cleaning system, like education system, like healthcare system. All these things can be done at local level with the local resources, and that will be a real progress. It will really bring people at par with the government, and people will become much more responsible and everything. They will get educated that how really things work, and I think that's the way to go. Otherwise, governments can borrow tons of money from foreign donors and build freeways and skyscrapers and uh, large projects, but they are not going to alleviate poverty. There will be still a lot of poverty in the country, and poverty will continue growing. I see a lot of homeless in United States large cities. So I do not mean to criticize United States, but that's the tragedy of the system, that so many homeless people, so many poor people end up sleeping in parks and on the streets in harsh weathers. and they do not have proper clothing, they do not get proper food, they do not get a proper healthcare system. So it is because the development levels achieved by capitalism, you can do many things in a capitalist way. You can make your cities wonderful, but of course the poverty grows and it remains there. I have seen in Scandinavian countries, apparently those systems are appreciated all around the globe, but I see crime over there, people breaking shops at night time and stealing goods from those shops. It happens in Sweden, it happens in Denmark. It is all because development is not done on the basis of local resources under the governance of local bodies and local boards. So developing countries, by developing infrastructure with local resources under local administration, is the right model of development. And I have given a couple of examples. Example like Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco and Sialkot Airport in Sialkot, Pakistan. So the policymakers in Pakistan should pay attention, and maybe uh, they want to redo their policies of development and build that type of boards all across Pakistan. There are 106 districts in all four provinces, so there can be 106 development boards on this model, which can really help a country develop and make Pakistan a beautiful, developed country with internal resources instead of huge borrowing and grants and loans and this and that from foreign countries. But I think the people have to force their ruler to think on these lines. They can do it on their own too. If governments don't do it, people should move forward and they should generate that type of boards on their own. And they should let the government know that they do not need their help. They can do it on their own. And I am pretty sure that there will be a rapid progress in the country by following this model. Thank you so much for listening to me and paying attention to what I'm saying. I'll be back some other day with some other thoughts.